Hey guys, it's Shy and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you my go-to everyday makeup look. It's the makeup look that you guys see on my Instagram all the time. It's pretty simple overall, but I do get a lot of questions about like what products I'm using, especially like what lip combo I'm doing. So I just thought I would sit down and just show you guys how I do my makeup every single day. This is just what I do. So I hope you guys enjoy. First things first, we're gonna get our prime on. This is the Pores Be Gone Matte Primer from First Aid Beauty. I have grown completely and utterly obsessed with this. It makes my makeup look really smooth and it helps control my oils, but not in like a drying way, if that makes sense. Because I do have combination skin, so I do have some dry patches, some very oily places, and this one just does the perfect balance. Now for foundation, I am obsessed with the Dior Backstage foundation. I really like it. I'm gonna go in with 2.5N and then I do have 2N as well. I might have to mix them because my self tan is super faded and it's completely off my hands at this point, so I am like 3 different shades of weird. I'm gonna eventually get it together. So for this one, I'm just gonna do droppers all over. And I'm gonna actually go in with my Shop Miss A sponge. Okay, does anyone else having this issue? I washed my Tati Beauty, I've since used it, my little thing, and it's just not the same. So I'm starting to get like streaks. I don't know if I washed it incorrectly, but I will keep you guys updated on that. But this sponge never does me wrong. The only reason I was really loving applying using the Tati Beauty thing to apply this foundation is because this foundation is pretty sheer overall. So I do have to build it up pretty normally anyway, which I'm fine with because I just like the way that it looks like natural skin at the end, but it really, you can build it up to really nice coverage, but whatever. And then I was seeing a lot of people, their sponges were splitting open. So if you were one of those people, let me know what happened. Hopefully she's able to address everything. I don't know if she has or not because mine just, it's not applying the makeup as seamlessly. I'm starting to get streaks now, which is unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. Now we are going in with concealer. This is my favorite concealer of all time at this point. It's the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer in L4. And this one, it just does what I want it to do. It gives really nice coverage and it blends out really well, so it's not gonna be this bright. I do always prefer a brighter under eye though because I tend to get dark circles under my eyes, so this just helps balance it, especially after I've gone in with my contour and everything. And then I always go down the nose. And then I'm going to use my same sponge to blend it out as well. And a good tip too is if you want more coverage under your eyes, blend that out last because the longer you let your concealer sit, the more coverage you're going to get. Now, of course, find out if you have a fast drying concealer or not though, because if you have a very fast drying concealer, if you let it sit for too long, it's gonna be a nightmare. And I just set with my CoverGirl True Blend powder. I use the shade 1 underneath my eyes, and I am obsessed with the little Tati Beauty Blendiful to do this with. So I actually am switching over to the original puff because that's starting to leave little streaks in my face too. I just think it's like too built up with powder because I've been using it quite a bit. But yeah, I'm like, Anyways, I'm gonna dip into my brows now, and I'm gonna not skip through any steps. Like I'm gonna actually show you guys what I do for everything. So if this video is a little long, that's why. Just because I have a lot of people that ask about these steps. So here we go. For brows, I just use the Benefit little brow tool, brow tool, and I go in with the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder in the shade 1. I use the darker shade to go all over my brows, so I line them almost as if this were a pomade, but I use the powder. So I'm gonna get up close so you guys can kind of see. So I start under my brow to really carve out where I want this to go, and then I flick upward with it to blend the powder through the brow hairs. And this gives me a filled in brow, but also looks very natural through there. So see how this one's quite sparse and then this one has more of a shape to it. This I've just started to do probably the last few months, and it really has changed the way that my brows look because I was interested in more of a natural brow. Now, I don't do this all the time. If I want a more structured brow, I will still do a pomade. Certain looks call for certain things, but every day I do go in with the powder. Next, I take the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 5 and I go through my brows. Now, I like using this deeper shade because I feel like it really enhances the brow hairs. And I'm not necessarily using it for added brow coverage. I just want the hairs to just stand out a little bit more. And I feel like it makes it look a little bit more natural. You can actually see them through there. And that is my little brow trick. On to shadow. I don't even clean up under my brow normally day by day. It's just not that big of a deal to me. So I'm gonna just press out any concealer that could have creased. And then every day I literally use this Lynn shade from this Jeffree Star Morphe palette to just set all over my lids. And then I put this palette away. I just, whatever, like this tone just works so well and everything blends so good on top of this shadow. Now we're gonna dip into my Hola Chola palette. I can't stop using it. I just really, really love this palette, guys. I have a dot of foundation that dropped into it somehow, but the shades that I go in with are just these three. Unless I want something warmer, then I'll dip into that one. But first, I am going to grab my Royal & Langnickel crease brush, and I'm gonna dip into Lil B, and I use this as my transition shade. And I like this brush because it is quite fluffy, so it blends it out really nicely and you don't get any harsh lines. These brushes are also very affordable. After Lil B is there, I'm gonna take my Profusion crease brush and dip into Chula, and I am going to pop this in the crease, not going up quite as high, keeping this more, we're basically like contouring the eye right now, because I'm going to use like all very similar shades throughout my face. This is going to be very similar to my soft glam look, if you guys caught that. So just keeping it through here and then gently, gently blending it out right there. So just see how it's giving you just that extra little bit of depth. That's really all I'm looking for. Back in with my first brush with no additional product, and I just re-blend over everything just to really make sure it's a nice gradient. There's no harsh edges. And it's really easy overall. Because after that, I'm going to take a flat brush. I use the BH Cosmetics number 5 and I dip into Lil Smiley. And I pack this on the front of the lid just so that the lid you can see that a little bit better. See how that just looks a little bit more cleaned up? It's a very small step, but I feel like it helps it just look a little bit more crisp. And I'm not touching anything over here. I'm letting that still have a little bit of brown shadow on it. And then I'm gonna take that crease brush one more time and dip into Lil B and just kind of slightly deepen out here, nothing major. And then for under the eye, I am going to grab my Peaches and Cream PC22, and then I'm gonna take Chula again, and I'm gonna buff that right under the eye. For a while I was going in with Lil B first, but I like the way that this adds that extra bit of depth. So it just gives it a little bit more. I'm gonna throw on a winged liner. I like the NYX Epic Ink Liner. It is my favorite. So the way I do my wing is I like to start from the smallest point, which is gonna be the inside of the eye, and draw a line all the way out so then I know like this doesn't get any thicker, if that makes sense. And then I don't draw too thin of a line either because we are gonna go in with the Huda Beauty lashes. So I like it to blend as much as possible. And then next, for the outside, I just pick a point. And I like a pretty decent sized wing. And then just drag it over. No, it's bleeding up. A little angled brush and just spray it with some setting spray. And hopefully we can just brush it back down. Just a light amount to just set it. And then we're gonna re-go over the liner. That was so weird. And then I'm just gonna re-buff in a little bit of color right there. Like, what the hell was that? Yeah, I've never had that happen before. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Strange. But if that ever happens, just brush it downward so that it doesn't disturb your shadow and it'll help take off. So I guess you guys learned how to fix a liner mistake. That was so weird though. Okay, it didn't do it again. That was just weird. Okay, well, there's the wing. All the eyeliner turned out good. Thank God. That was so strange. So I took my Huda Beauty lashes out of the package and I'm just gonna line them up with my eye so I know how much I need to cut off. And then never cut your lashes from the outside, always cut them from the inside. Otherwise, you're gonna miss that like little fluffy edge that they give. And let's see. And always just go little bits at a time because you can always cut more, but you can't undo what you just did. So let's try that again. So then I take my lash glue and I draw it on the strip. I use the Duo lash glue that has a little wand on it. I feel like it just makes it way easier to apply. And the trick with lashes is to make sure that they get nice and tacky. So I put it on both of them and I let them sit while I put on my mascara. For mascara, I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. And I never go in with a lash curler. I just kind of blink to bring my lashes up so I get them good and coated. And then next I'm gonna take my lashes because now they've gotten a little bit more tacky, and I like to start with the inner portion as well and just kind of lay them down. And then I just have this little thing that I got from a Kiss lash set, and I use it to grab the inner corner and just lay it down. That's it. Now to contour, I take a cooler shade, and I really like this brush from, I think this is a Crown brush. It's just like a small little dome shaped, and I tap it in, and I start high, so kind of making that, most people would contour here. I like to contour up a little bit higher. So I start right there and I go back and forth and then gently blend it upward so that we have a higher cheekbone. And then I take the same shade and I run it on my jaw. And then I've been taking my Wet n Wild pressed powder in warm beige and a giant fluffy brush. This is, I don't know what this brush is. It's a Moda brush. And just using this to really just make sure that it's all blended in here. For nose contour, I use my AOA Studios High Def E110 in the same contour type shade. And for contouring, you definitely can use like whatever palette, just pick a cooler shade because cool shades are what are gonna add shadows. I mean, you can contour with a bronzer, but it is gonna add a little bit more warmth instead of shadows. We're gonna go in with a bronzer though. And then I like to take my sponge and just gently tap all over the lines. And it's like a gentle tapping motion because I don't want them to go away completely, and then I'll like randomly re-tap through spots like that so that I have like, I don't know, it just makes it more of like a little button nose, I don't know. And then I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Beauty bronzer, and this is a Morphe angled brush, and we're gonna go right above the contour so that this is gonna blend upwards. It's all about bringing the face up. And I like this brush because it's, your bronzer is almost acting as another part of your contour too. So I put it on the sides, and I don't put it on like the middle of my forehead. I just kind of tap it across the top. And then I like to put it on my chin and then across my nose. And it's not adding like a whole lot, it's just bringing a little bit of warmth to the center of the face. So it really just kind of ties everything in. Really into the Kylie Cosmetics We're Going Shopping blush, and then this is a giant Morphe brush, and for the blush I'm just putting it upwards, so again using these products to kind of just contour the face up, And then I like to just do a little tap on the chin, just kind of brings the warmth in. Now it's not like a major swipe or anything. It's not even enough that's really noticeable, but it is gonna just tie in some of those colors and that warmth. For highlight, I'm gonna go in with my Fresh and Frosted palette, and I like to highlight with this little brush that I got from AOA Studios. It is an E127, and I'm gonna dip into this shade right here. And just on like the highest points, and I like to blend it over, and then take my ring finger and just kind of gently blur those lines so that you get that really beautiful highlight, but it's not looking streaky. So just on the highest points, and I always swirl it over so that the highlight kind of continues, and then doing a little bit where like the arch of the brow would be, just a teeny bit. And then I dip back in and I do the tip of the nose and like upwards, because again, it's about lifting the face up, and then down the bridge. And then I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit and hit the Cupid's bow, just like that. Now, this is where it gets kind of fun with the highlight. So I've been topping it with the Fenty Hollow at Me, which gives it just a little bit of a pinky shift, and just in the highest points. So just like right here. And then I do the tip of the nose, and then I also take it on a AOA Studios E134, and I hit the inner corner with it. And this just gives it the prettiest iridescent pink sparkle, and it's really fun. I'm so sorry it's not gonna show up on camera well, but you just gotta trust me, it's so pretty. And I hope this highlight is still available. If it's not, I am so sorry, but any type of pink, shimmery, anything you can put in the inner corner. And again, just those highest points, and it gives you that extra little bit. Now I get a lot of questions about how I do my lips, so I'm gonna do the full thing on camera with you guys. So first I'm gonna go in with my Patrick Ta She's Bold lip liner, and I just line the entire bottom lip. Just a swipe, and then I go down more than my natural lip. I'm gonna show you guys how I contour my lips now. And then this one's easy because of the way that it's shaped, that you can make it a little bit whiter, like the coloring. And then I don't start going all the way over here. I start like right here. And I'm gonna draw upward, overlining the top lip as I go up. And then I'm gonna go across my Cupid's bow, like creating that little X. And then same thing on this side. And crossing over. And then just making sure the corners are filled in with the color, but starting like your overline up further, if that makes sense. I always overline my lips, I always have. Then before I go further, I grab one of my little concealer brushes, which should be in front of me. Yes. And I am going to just kind of clean up this area right here. Just because, again, I want it more centered. And then if you have any mistakes, use this. Now, I don't add any additional concealer to it. I just use kind of like whatever is left over. And then it makes it more pouty through the center. And then I go in with my Jeffree Star I'm Nude liquid lipstick. And I start in the center and then slowly build it outward. And I do go over everything. And that's what helps it blend a little bit more. Same thing on the top lip. And then I will re-go over the center portion just a tiny bit more. So I really get that nice ombre lip. so it helps the lips look even fuller. Just like that. So now we're basically just highlighting the center, but since I went over everything, it looks a little bit more blended versus having like a harsh lip liner line, if that makes sense. And then to set it all, I am going to actually go in with my NYX Bear With Me setting spray. I either use this or my Urban Decay. Both are great. Okay guys, and that is it for my everyday makeup look. I know it's not like the most exciting thing in the world, but again, I have gotten requests for it. And then I hope that it helps a little bit, like that I went step by step to show you guys how I do everything, especially my lip contour, because I get quite a bit of questions about that. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out, and I will see you next video. Bye guys.